To sustain success beyond the first year in a rock and roll band is a challenge. To stay at the very top for a full decade, unthinkable. Very few endure the trials and tribulations of stardom. Like the Bulls' 6 championships of the 1990s, Led Zeppelin's 6 shows at the LA Forum cemented their place in rock history with attitude, inspiration, and resilience. A concert venue of 1,000 highlights, but very few like these performances in late June. 6/21/77. For the average person, these numbers mean nothing, but for Led Zeppelin fans, it's a milestone in the band's concert records. June 21st, 1977. My formative years of Zeppelin fandom found me in awkward conversations with ex-girlfriends, co-workers, and even tribute band musicians whenever I said, the song remains the same and How the West Was Won get all the praise, but 6/21/77 is legendary and should be officially released. The responses I usually got was deafening silence. I was in my early 20s when I downloaded the 6/21/77 bootleg via LimeWire, as I refused to buy bootlegs out of principle. The album title was Listen to This Eddie, and I had no idea who Eddie was. All I had was the setlist information and the FLAC sound quality of one of the best audience recordings ever captured on tape. The show really hits you in the face with its punch and clarity, as you feel you're right there at the LA Forum. I had to do my research as to why the audio was so good, and found my answers. One man, one vision. A musical hero that managed to capture this without getting caught by Led Zeppelin's manager Peter Grant. More about him later. I've been asked by my dear patrons, PayPal donators, and subscribers to talk about this show, so the time has come to do a deep dive on one of the most famous Zeppelin bootlegs out there. Welcome to the first episode of the series, in which I will cover the band's entire run of 6 shows at the Forum. We'll begin with 6/21/77 and 6/22/77. Yes, June 22nd, the second night, a somewhat forgotten show that deserves a closer look as well. So get ready for a deep dive and musical analysis for batch holders only. For all the bad rap the 1977 tour gets, these shows bring justice to a very powerful band who was all but done. From Bonham's menacing drums to Jumbo Jones's metallic string bravado, it's a rhythm section feast that elevates the electric thunder moves of Jimmy Page and Robert Plant's powerful rockstar authority. A patron-funded documentary. This is the making of 6 Nights at the Forum, 1977. So what's the deal with the LA Forum shows of 1977? What's the secret behind their success and cult status among the Zeppelin collectors? First, let's take a look at the state of play. The 11th visit to America saw the band play 17 shows in April and 9 dates in May. June 1977 had an interesting schedule because of how little airplane traveling it had. 4 venues and 14 concerts was a much better setting as opposed to April with 12 cities on the map. No matter how comfortable and luxurious, frequent flying takes a toll on passengers, and Led Zeppelin were no exception. Add in Robert Plant still recovering from his leg injury while playing 3-hour shows, and the less traveling, the better. June started off with an almost fatal show in Tampa. You can check my retrospective here on the channel. Then they went to Madison Square Garden for a much anticipated 6-night series that proved to be the best training for the upcoming shows in LA. While the 1977 tour had 4 nights in Chicago and 4 nights at Landover, these venues didn't have the expectations of the Garden or the Forum. Chicago was a bit early in the game, so the consistency varies, and Landover, well, it was still a brand new venue trying to find its identity. Led Zeppelin flew to the West Coast for the last shows in June. John Bonham had a severe case of food poisoning which affected his drumming on the San Diego Sports Arena date on the 19th. While the show was not bad, Bonzo struggled throughout the concert, quite a contrast to his bandmates, who sounded great. This fueled his desire to challenge himself for the next show. Think of it like Michael Jordan's famous flu game on June 11, 1997. The Bulls won by 2 points and then went on to win Game 6 for their 5th championship. John Bonham took it personally and musically, with his mind set on Zeppelin's opening night at the Forum. The short distance between San Diego and Los Angeles meant they could fly back to their West Coast hotel and chill, or well, enjoy their personal lifestyle choices in the warm weather of June. Led Zeppelin had 1 day off vacation, which was short enough not to lose momentum. The 1977 shows at the Forum benefited from the magic of playing Los Angeles in June. The stats were in their favor, as we can attest from their June 1972 show on How the West Was Won. Now, they hadn't played Los Angeles since March 27, 1975. That's 2 years and 2 months. Coming back to the Forum was a big deal. This was the first time LA fans had to wait more than a year to hear live premieres from the band's most recent album, and like I've mentioned on the Making of Presents, their North American return was a sort of promotional tour for their concert film release as well. There's also the fact that the 1977 shows were originally scheduled for March, but had to be pushed down to June because of Robert's laryngitis right before the tour. First 3 nights at the Forum went on sale on February 1st and were sold out in 4 hours. These were to take place March 9th through the 16th. Interesting to see the long space between opening night and their second show. I checked the history books and found the reason for this. There was a Los Angeles Kings game against the Washington Capitals on March 10th, as well as a Lakers game versus the Washington Bullets on March 11th. Yeah, I want to thank my patrons who fund my obsessive research. So who played at the Forum since Led Zeppelin's last visit in March 1975? Everybody. I repeat, everybody. April through December 1975 had the Doobie Brothers, John Denver, Bob Seger, Climax Blues Band, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Alice Cooper, ZZ Top, Aerosmith, Bad Company, 5 Nights with the Rolling Stones, the Eagles, Santana, Eric Clapton, Black Sabbath, and the Allman Brothers. 1976 had 59 shows with Cat Stevens, David Bowie, Kiss, and Montrose in February. Ike and Tina Turner, Donna Summer, and Chicago were next in March. April 1st had Loggins and Messina plus Gary Wright. The Doobie Brothers were back in May, as well as Kansas, and 2 nights with Bad Company, which featured encore guest stars Jimmy Page and Robert Plant on the first night. Wings played 3 shows at the Forum in late June. John Bonham attended these concerts and can be seen backstage in a Wings tour video summary. August had Jefferson Starship and Stephen Stills, plus Cheap Trick and the Marshall Tucker Band. Earth, Wind & Fire hit the stage in September, followed by the Starship again, this time with opening band Heart. October had 3 nights with the Eagles plus opening act Hall & Oates. Wild Cherry shared the bill on the 24th, fresh off their hit single success, next to the Isley Brothers. The rest of the year had Neil Young, Blue Oyster Cult, Eric Clapton, Rush's first time at the LA Forum, Ted Nugent, Peter Frampton of course, the Bee Gees, and the Beach Boys on December 31st. January 1977 had Parliament Funkadelic and 2 nights with Electric Light Orchestra, featuring progressive rock guitarist Steve Hillage and his band. February had Steve Miller and Black Sabbath. The music continued with Thin Lizzy opening for Queen, playing their first ever set of 2 nights at the Forum on March 2nd and 3rd. Genesis followed on the 24th for their Wind and Withering tour. ELO was back on April 22nd, and Supertramp performed on the 28th. Bad Company brought Good Vibrations to LA on May 9th, before the Lakers lost 2 playoff games that month against the Portland Trail Blazers, who went on to win the NBA championship. June 1977 had the Grateful Dead on the 4th and ZZ Top on the 11th, with opening act Elvin Bishop. Led Zeppelin was next.
It's a big improvement because Gaines just added a natural beef flavor. Improved Gravy Train even looks different. And dogs can taste the difference, wet or dry.
It's Monday, June 20th, 1977. Anticipation for Led Zeppelin's first show at the Forum is at an all-time high in the rock and roll circles of dedicated fans. Billboard's Hot 100 list that week had Marvin Gaye at number 1 with Got to Give It Up, and no Led Zeppelin tunes on the charts, of course. Ram Jam's Black Betty Bambalam at number 71, Barracuda at number 41, and Life in the Fast Lane at number 11 made sure hard-hitting guitars were still present on the radio airwaves. Also in the news was the first-day operations for the Trans-Alaska Pipeline System, with a distance of 800 miles or 1,300 kilometers. That's what she said. It ran from Prudhoe Bay down to Valdez. Back in California, a 26-year-old music fan double-checked his recording gear to capture Zeppelin's opening night. His name was Mike Millard, and his concert taping techniques gave him the nickname of Mike the Mike. Mike Millard was no amateur by June 1977. His list of recordings was legendary, covering many venues in Southern California. His LA Forum resume included Yes and Elton John in 1974, Jethro Tull and the Faces, Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, and Led Zeppelin in 1975. He recorded Queen's March 3, 1977 date at the Forum and was ready for Zeppelin's return. To say he knew the acoustics of the venue is an understatement. The man had forensic audio knowledge. Not only that, but he also captured Led Zeppelin's June 19th show in San Diego, so he also knew what to expect on the 21st. Now, how did he manage to record all these historical events? One word: Nakamichi. The Nakamichi Research Corporation was founded back in 1948 and specialized in portable radios, reel tape recorders, and high-quality stereo cassette decks. Their stuff wasn't cheap though. By 1973, a low-priced recorder Nakamichi 550 was released to the public. Mike Millard got his hands on one of these. It had 3 microphone inputs, left, right, and center blend channel. It ran on both batteries or a power supply and could capture up to 3 hours of tape. How did Mike Millard got past security and Peter Grant's strict rules against concert taping? Well, he used a wheelchair to hide the recording device, which gave him VIP access to special front row areas, pretending he was disabled. This was a key factor in the quality of his recordings. It was a genius move to avoid Led Zeppelin staff beating you up to confiscate the tapes. I don't see Peter Grant hitting a disabled fan. This was a bulletproof plan. Now I wonder why Mike wasn't recognized in the streets days after the rock and roll events he witnessed. The fact his concert taping identity was never revealed to the concert staff is an achievement of its own. Mike Millard recorded 4 out of Zeppelin's 6 shows at the Forum, these being June 21st, 23rd, 25th, and 27th. Mike didn't believe in selling bootleg recordings and made special marks to these tapes to keep track of his trading activities with other fans. Now, as you would expect in Led Zeppelin trading circles, somebody decided to make money from the June 21st date, thus Listen to This Eddie was eventually released. The original version has an album cover collage of both the back cover from Led Zeppelin 3 and the object from Presence. The recording's title is a source of speculation. Some people state it refers to audio engineer extraordinaire Eddie Kramer and how he would be impressed by Mike's work. Kramer was the person responsible for capturing The Song Remains the Same, so this kinda makes sense. The second theory refers to a January 1981 issue of Guitar World, where Eddie Van Halen said Jimmy Page never played well on stage. Quote, "He's very sloppy. He plays like he's got a broken hand, and he's 2 years old." As much as I respect Eddie Van Halen, it was an unnecessary thing to say, taking a jab at Page. Hey, at least Jimmy Page never recorded Dreams with Sammy Hagar, right? That makes me sleep well at night. I hate that song. Fun fact about this issue of Guitar World, Eddie Van Halen can be seen holding a dragon-shaped guitar, which is similar to both Jimmy's Dragon Pants, black and white. Funny how in 1993, Eddie changed his mind about the maestro himself.
I don't think there's anybody on the planet that hasn't been somehow touched or inspired by the man's music.
The highest compliment to Mike Millard's work was that Jimmy Page used a fragment for one of the menus on Led Zeppelin's DVD released in 2003. Let's make a toast for Mike Millard, one of the unsung heroes of rock and roll's concert history. Led Zeppelin was once again back at the Continental Hyatt in 1977, witnessing the changing rock scene in Los Angeles. Long gone were the dreamers. It was now a city of broken dreams, burned out groupies, and decadent profiles in autopilot. The machinery they helped create was now a fashionable lifestyle. Concrete walls, hot asphalt streets, needles, mirrors, and a dry spell after party trapped in consumerism America. The summer of love 1967 was now 10 years gone. The days of LA chants and psychedelia were over. Without them knowing, this was Led Zeppelin's final visit to Los Angeles, a swan song to the city that saw them play 10 shows at the Forum since 1970. June 21st was their 11th time at the venue on their 11th North American tour. The band's setlist for June 21st was pretty much the same as their last night at Madison Square Garden, except for the rare inclusion of Heartbreaker right after Bonham's drum solo. This was the fourth and final time it was done on tour. Wardrobe choices were pretty much the same for San Diego Sports Arena, except for John Bonham's shirt being the only time he used it on stage. So let's go back to June 21st, 1977, when Emerson and Palmer played the Spectrum, Philadelphia. Elvis Presley hit Rushmore Plaza Civic Center in South Dakota. Judas Priest and REO Speedwagon played San Antonio's Municipal Auditorium. Pink Floyd rocked Kemper Arena in Kansas City. Crosby, Stills and Nash visited Madison Square Garden, and the Eagles played with no backing tracks at Columbia's Carolina Coliseum. Fleetwood Mac's Rumors was in its fifth week at number 1 on Billboard's 200 list, and Box Office Failure, New York, New York was released. The film was directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Liza Minnelli and Robert De Niro. Let's go on to the show. Enjoy.
it. I haven't seen you since, anybody here when we played with Bad Company? That was the first time that we ever managed to get back on stage again. So tonight, tonight no beating around the bush, we're just gonna play, because that's what we're here for. It is indeed a great pleasure to be back in California. For many, many reasons. Among those, it's very hard to see the sun in a basement in New York. Hey, babe, you got the look on me. Maybe not better now. But I don't think I really can, 'cause I really somebody. I need a little bit of help from somebody.
Starting to cook. We'd like to welcome back to the world John Bonham, who had a terrible fit of food poisoning. Welcome back, John Bonham.
He had far too many rhinestones. What are we going to do to go down when I say Jimmy? Jimmy!
Something a little harder then. Going to feature a very good friend of ours, who's often playing with the band these days. John Paul Jones on keyboards, no quarter. grand piano. Oh boy, that certainly moved along a little bit. We found ourselves in a position of somewhat forced stalemate for about 2 years. A sort of physical stalemate, which was not very, it was a bit frustrating. So when we started to rehearse with a view to traveling the world and seeing many hotels, we thought, hang on, wait a minute, I didn't say Jimmy. Creeps in, and we reached the age of 25. We decided to do something that we haven't done for years and years. You know what I mean, Bonzo? And this brings a rather warm vibe, and it brings a man who had a very bad stomach complaint to the front of the stage. John Bonham. Come on! Rhinestone Cowgirl. Dedicate to a lot of good friends that we've met along the way. Some are going back to New York tomorrow. Dear Danny, we'll miss you so much. You and your American Express card. She needs bad luck. Fortunately, the guy who tunes Jimmy's guitars comes from Scotland, and he always tends to tune them in Scottish. The man
man who fought food poisoning, the man who drinks Heineken, the man who doesn't get out of bed, the man who hasn't got a symbol, the man who's having a chat with his man who knows the man who tunes Jimmy's guitar, who comes from Scotland and doesn't know the man they call Tim, but does know Audrey from Dallas. Thank you. The man who now learns how to construct his own drum kit. The man who's not very professional. The man who said he could go back to a building site any time, and we all agreed. The man who's holding up the show. The rhinestone cowgirl. Come on, Ponto, get on with it. That's what the Quaalude stagger is. The man who played the Los Angeles Aztecs and beat them 10-1 by himself. A childhood friend. A man who many people once said, never heard of him. John Bonham, over the top!
atmosphere, at least on stage tonight. It's like a sort of a high point of the whole tour to be back here. Maybe after 6 nights it might not be so easy to say that, but at the moment...
Led Zeppelin had reasons to celebrate as opening night at the Forum was a success. The second show of the series lives in the shadow of Listen to This Eddie, thus it's known as One Day After Eddie, or just the second night. Setlist wise, it's an almost carbon copy of the 21st, except this was a rare 1977 instance in which both In My Time of Dying and Over the Hills and Far Away were played on the same night. Now let's discuss the wardrobe. Bonzo wore the same orange-style wife beater that can be seen on Led Zeppelin's April 1st show in Dallas. Jones went for his average tour choice of white, while Plant used a dark blue pattern fabric of what seemed to be doves. This would have been a good idea in 1973, not so much in 1977. Anyway, this was the first and only time he used it on tour. Now Jimmy Page used his full black dragon suit for the third time on tour, next to May 28th Capitol Center and the first show at Oakland Coliseum. He decided to change his outfit during Bonzo's drum solo. He played the rest of the songs wearing his white suit instead. So this is the first and only time he wore both outfits on the same show. Now there is some speculation as to why he changed his clothing, and here's my guess. If you compare the Earl's Court 1975 shots with the 1977 pictures of Jimmy wearing the black dragon suit, it's obvious he lost a significant amount of weight. We can see he's using a belt to hold the outfit together, where he didn't need one before. Robert Plant made a comment about this after In My Time of Dying, saying Jimmy's pants are falling down. Second night at the Forum was not captured by legendary taper Mike Millard, thus the sound quality is inferior to Listen to This Eddie, but it's still an exciting listen with lots of highlights to appreciate. So let's go back to June 22nd, 1977, when Elvis Presley played Sioux Falls Arena, South Dakota. Aerosmith rocked the Tarrant Convention Center in Texas, and Dan Fogelberg played the first show of the Mississippi River 2-month concert festival series. Dethroning Star Wars at number 1 was adventure film The Deep, landing the number 1 position on June 22nd at $3 million. The score was done by John Barry of James Bond fame. The movie's theme song was Down Deep Inside, sang by disco queen Donna Summer. June 22nd was also the day Led Zeppelin played their 1972 show at the Swing Auditorium in San Bernardino, California. I hope you enjoy the second night of the forum.
Well, we don't intend to mess about. We're even getting to the gig early these days. Wonders will never cease. We're going to dedicate this next song to... oh, give it a rest. Leave it out. We don't want that. Do we want that? Then the next time anybody does it, just tap them on the shoulder and say, leave it out. Trousers right now. His pants are falling down. Jimmy Page's pants are falling down. his belt. Position that we haven't taken on for about 6 years, and it's called
am I in your way?
Sitting down. It's the passive position. John Bonham, a man who many people in LA already know very well, often seen face down on Sunset Boulevard, scrutinizing the concrete sidewalk. So this is an acoustic set which we hope will sort of give you or reintroduce you to the elements of the music that we didn't get together on the Presence album because our state of mind wasn't such to produce acoustic stuff. Next piece requires John Jones on upright bass. A good investment for $10. Sleeps in chains. The one and only, everybody's friend,
John Bonham, over the top!
Friend of a diamond-studded badge holder, John Bonham. Love you. Goodbye. See you in a bit.